Hey there, Jonah here with my second video on why I quit testosterone. I know it took a couple months longer to make this than I had originally anticipated, um, but I'm here now, and that's what matters. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hearing me. I'm very honored to talk with you today. I think that I really need to begin this video by saying that the reason that I knew I was transgender, and the reason that I've heard a lot of my transgender friends echo, is because I have body dysphoria. And if you are cisgender and you've never experienced body dysphoria, I just want to emphasize that it is a very real thing, and it's also very difficult to explain to somebody who has never experienced it before. But basically we have two gender maps of our body. We have the physical, visible map of our bodies and what they actually look like. And then we have the map of our bodies in our brains. Now, for cisgender people, there's no real incongruence between the map in their brain and the map of their body. But for me, being transgender, the map in my brain developed differently from the map of my body. So that since I was, very, very young, before I was even old enough to be conscious of myself as a living creature, I knew my body to be shaped like that of a male's from what my gender map in my brain told me. The map in my brain told me that my body occupied space that it could not physically fill. I know it's weird. It's been compared to phantom limb syndrome, where amputee patients can still feel sensations in limbs that they don't physically have anymore, because their brain still has a map of their body and what it looks like, and the space that it fills, and it's still sending signals to pieces of their body that don't physically exist anymore. The brain is very, very powerful like that. It controls a lot of that stuff. And that was a basic rundown of body dysphoria. So moving forward from that, I decided that hormones and surgery were right for me because I needed to align my brain with my body. For somebody who has body dysphoria, the static of their incongruence pretty much gets in the way of everything. It's really, really hard to focus on living a normal, functioning life when there's so much static going on, because your soul is essentially in the wrong vessel, and that's very uncomfortable. And society is always reinforcing that incongruence with mixed pronouns and invasive questions about your genitals, and degrading comments about your appearance and your behavior, and then just general isolation from the clan of normal cisgender functioning individuals. And so this is the idea that was sold to me by the medical community, that I would find congruence as the hormones aligned my brain with my body. I thought that as soon as I went on testosterone, my body was going to do this song and dance. Like, yes, that is the stuff. That is the stuff that we have been missing all these years. All these years. Where did you find that? Where did you find that? Now that we have that, we're complete. We're good. We're set for life. We're good. But that didn't happen. Outwardly, there was congruence. I passed as male 100% of the time. I got the pronoun that I wanted. Nobody gave me shit anymore. That part of my life had improved immensely. Immensely. But in here, there was no aligning of planets. There was only sacrifice. over time, I watched the few people close to me who had not disowned me. I watched them come to look at me and not recognize me. It got to the point where one day I looked in the mirror and I ran my hand across my thickening jawline and across my stubble that I had waited for so long for. So long for that stubble. And I looked in the mirror and I didn't know who I was. And I felt like a traitor. I missed myself. And I realized this is not harmony. This is just one more day of hiding. I can hide. I can hide my birth. I can hide my socialization. I can hide my feminine face. Everything behind this jawline, behind this facial hair. And that's all that I had ever wanted. That's all I had ever wanted, was to pass as male. Not as female, not as transgender, just as male. And passing ended up denying my right to a history. And I have a very rich history and a very good story because of who I am. And if people look straight through me and see just a he, just a sir, then that history has been erased. I have silenced myself for a pronoun. It is very tempting to believe that I am fully male, that I am testosterone, that I am muscle mass, that I am stubble, because this has always told me that I am. But you know what? I am inside of a female vessel, and no matter how I shape it, no matter how I inject it, no matter how I cut it, that's not going to change. I cannot undo birth. I cannot undo socialization. I cannot shave off a large part of myself and throw it away and pretend that it never existed. The hard truth for me, the very, very hard truth that I had to realize, is that I will never be cisgender. I will never have a cisgendered experience. I will never have complete alignment between my body and my brain. And you know what? That doesn't make me a half-functioning individual. It just makes me different. And different is okay, because there's a reason for it. So, why? Why was I striving so hard to gain something that was impossible? And what should I be striving for instead? To fulfill my purpose as an individual with a transgender experience, rather than to be blending in as another cisgender guy. To be the hybrid that I was born to be. You know, I am a hybrid with a story of bothness, and in a world of black and white. Gray has unlimited potential to change things. You know, I have been given something very special, and while I do believe that I'm trans, and I absolutely believe that something happened in the womb, something different happened, and this developed one way, and this developed another way, and out came me, what I don't believe is that it was an accident. I believe that it happened for a very specific reason, and I am not going to learn that reason on testosterone. Injecting myself in the thigh every week did not bring me closer to the truth. It just helped to mask the pain for one more week. It just helped to mask the pain. As a trans person, as a hybrid, my very existence defies the concept of a binary. But the irony of this is inescapable. Because for the world to recognize me in my natural position and not as one side of the binary that it ascribes to me based on my genitals, I must do the very thing that I loathe and ascribe to myself the opposite binary position. I must be fully male for the world to see the maleness in me. I must shun all traces of female for the world to believe that I am not fully female, and that is not the truth. That is the sacrifice that I'm not willing to make. My plight, if I have a plight, is to plead with younger FTMs especially to learn and to love themselves fully without feeling that they have to bury their past beneath injections. This process of transition is not a process of becoming. It's just a process of learning who you already are. I'm not arguing against transition. I'm simply arguing against what we think that transition means. And I'm not arguing against testosterone. I'm simply advocating for a larger disclaimer on the bottle. This will not make you who you are. You already are who you are. I don't believe that gender identity can ever be a solidified thing. It's like we keep trying to place a period at the end of a sentence, and then when the sentence tries to expand beyond the period, we think that we're losing our minds and something is wrong. You know, the same way we thought something was wrong when we first realized that we were living as the wrong gender. When we come to realize that even our preferred gender is not so black and white, we are stigmatized all over again. People say that we're gender confused, and they say that we're detransitioning, and they say that we're a disgrace to all of the real transgender people out there. Exploring who you are and what you think should never be referred to as confusion. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates said that. Don't stagnate. Don't shut yourself off from learning, exploring, examining more. What you think you know, it should shift minute to minute. Experience it fully and honestly and shamelessly. In conclusion, I realize that not everybody wants what I want. My young trans female friend asked me recently what it was like on testosterone to have everybody see me for who I was. And I replied, sort of sadly, that it was like being invisible. And she said, "Isn't that the point?" And she's right. Because for us, the alternative to being invisible is constant staring and invasive questions and insults. And it's exhausting. I know it's exhausting. But I am coming to realize that being exhausted is a price that I am willing to pay, and being stealth is not. Because my purpose is to speak. If your purpose is not to speak, and you want to be stealth, and you just want to pass, then I applaud you. I love you, and I will help you through it. I'm just saying that I can't do it. That doesn't make me a disgrace to the transgender race. It doesn't mean I'm detransitioning. It simply makes me a spokesperson for equality. Yours, and mine, and everyone else's who believes that you have to be black or white to be human. Your humanity is not contained in your vessel. That's all I really have to say on that specific subject. Thank you for watching. I'm really very honored to discuss this with you. I would still love to hear your story and your perspective. Please post it below. Let's talk about this. This is an open discussion. I would also like to say that my next video coming up is also related to testosterone, and it is entitled privileges earned, and the video after that one is entitled Best of Both Worlds. Both sort of unrelated topics, but stay tuned for those, and it's great to see you all back here. I hope to see you again soon.